Hello, and welcome to the first annual Christmas broadcast, brought to you by the Silverdome Players. I am your host, Thurgood Van Ivers. Tonight, we bring you Charles Dickens' classic tale, A Christmas Carol. Our cast tonight includes Alex Goodling, Alex Tieran, Brett Jansen, Brittany Coughlin, Casey Somerville, Danny Mays, Elise Ricucci, Garrett Ricucci, and Jason Cunningham. It was a cold, bleak, biting winter in London, and drifts of snow were piled up against the walls and doors of the buildings which made up a small city square. Although the clock tower had just clanged 3 o'clock, it was quite dark already. It had not been light all day because of the fog which came pouring in through every chink and keyhole, and was so dense that although the courtyard was small, the houses opposite were mere phantoms. It was in one such shop, surrounded in fog, that the offices of Scrooge and Marley were housed, and it was from their building's frosty window pane that the light of a candle shone through the gloom.
So cold out.
Seated on a stool behind a tall desk sat the shivering form of Bob Cratchit. His pen scratched methodically across the pages from the ledger, stopping only to warm himself by the heat from a flickering stub of a candle.
Cratchit, how are those ledgers coming?
Oh, they're coming good, sir. I was just finishing up the last one from LG Place.
Hurry up.
Oh, wait, would it be possible, sir, to possibly get one more lump of coal for the fire?
Is that coming out of your pocket?
Well, I was thinking of it more of as a business expense, sir.
Cratchit, you dare to steal from me?
Well, no, sir. I thought since we were burning it here, and the office is very cold, and the ink is becoming solid, I might make my productivity more...
Don't bother me with that.
Oh, okay, sir. Oh.
Scrooge was a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shriveled his cheek, and stiffened his gait. No warmth could warm, no wintry weather could chill him. No wind that blew was bitterer than he. No falling snow was more intent upon its purpose. No pelting rain less open to entreaty. The heaviest rain and snow and hail and sleet could boast of the advantage over him in only one respect. They often came down handsomely, and Scrooge never did.
Oh, here are those files you asked for, Mr. Scrooge, sir. I thought perhaps you might have a moment to talk about tomorrow.
What about tomorrow?
Well, it's Christmas Day. Oh, hello.
Merry Christmas, Bob!
Oh, Fred, it's good to see you. Your uncle.
You look frozen.
Oh, it's very cold, sir. Here, your uncle's just in there.
Nephew?
Merry Christmas, Uncle, and a happy return of the seasons.
Maybe for you.
Uncle?
What do you want? What do you want?
I've come to invite you to dinner with me and my friends and my wife tomorrow night.
No, I have to refinance and work on my 401k.
Uncle, it's the holidays. Enjoy Christmas.
I don't enjoy Christmas anymore. I never did.
Well, we shall miss you sorely, sir. Goodbye. And a Happy New Year.
Goodbye, nephew.
Oh, goodbye, Fred.
Goodbye, Bob, and a Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, and to you, sir.
Cratchit, in letting Scrooge's nephew out, had let 2 other people in. They were portly gentlemen, pleasant to behold, and now stood with their hats off in Scrooge's office.
Oh, well, hello, gentlemen. You here to see Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, we are here from the Society of the Brothers and Sisters of the Children and the Mothers of the Streets.
Are you Mr. Marley? No. I'm Bob Cratchit. Let me show you to Mr. Scrooge. He's the one who manages the place. Mr. Scrooge, there's two gentlemen here to see you.
Why are you interrupting me? I'm working.
Sir, we are from the Society of the Brothers and Sisters of the Children and Mothers of the Streets, sir. And, we are collecting for the Christmas season.
You know, there are many people out there who are very cold this time of year.
Very cold. Some people have no sweaters, or scarves, or gloves, or mittens,
Or coal,
or
or candles.
sweaters, or cardigans, or turtlenecks.
That's their own fault.
Well, we often make it a practice to go around and collect a small pittance to give and ease their burden.
Or a large pittance.
The burden? What about my burden?
Well,
I hate life.
You maybe wouldn't hate it so much if you knew that more people had scarves and cardigans and mittens and gloves and sweaters and turtlenecks, sir.
It's their own fault. If they freeze in the streets, let them.
Oh, I've never heard such a thing, sir. How can you say that? Think of the widows. Think of the orphans.
and think of all the people in the workhouses.
The workhouses, yes.
It's overpopulated. Let them die. Disease is spreading in the city.
That is the most horrible thing I've ever heard anyone say in my life. Have you no conscience, sir?
I don't care that it's Christmas Eve and I'm not nice. Go away. Leave me be.
Sir, you should be heartily ashamed of yourself. Merry Christmas.
As the day drew to a close, Scrooge and Marley began to close up shop for the evening.
You know, Mr. Scrooge, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about having the day off tomorrow.
The day off tomorrow.
Well, it's Christmas.
So?
Well,
There's work to do.
Well, it's customary that people have business off on Christmas Day.
What do you want?
Well, just the day off.
You want the day off? You're stealing from me then if you don't work.
But it's Christmas.
Humbug. I suppose. Fine, take what you want, take the day off. But come in 2 hours early the following day.
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Scrooge. Merry Christmas!
Scrooge, having locked up the office, traveled home. He lived in chambers which had once belonged to his deceased partner. They were a gloomy suite of rooms in a lowering pile of a building. It was an old and dreary enough, for nobody lived in it but Scrooge, the other rooms all being let out as offices. The fog and frost so hung around the old gateway of the house that even Scrooge, who knew its every stone, was compelled to grope with his hands.
At home another day.
As he fumbled with his keys at the door, he looked up and saw, to his shock, the brass door knocker, usually just a simple scrollwork, resembled the face of his long-dead partner.
Why? What do you want?
And then it was gone, and the knocker was just a knocker once more. Scrooge opened the door and locked it quickly behind himself. He lit a flickering candle and crept up the narrow, shoddy staircase to his chambers.
Cratchit, how dare you take the day off? It's my money.
He never lit more light than he had to. He crept around in this dark and empty house. Darkness was cheap, and Scrooge liked it. He went into his chamber, and there he went to his chair by the fireplace. The empty, guttering fireplace where no fire had been lit in many weeks. As he threw his head back in the chair, his glance happened to rest upon a bell, a disused bell that hung in the room, and communicated for some purpose now forgotten with a chamber in the highest story of the building. It was with great astonishment, and with a strange, inexplicable dread, that as he looked, he saw this bell begin to swing. It swung so softly that in the outset it scarcely made a sound, but soon it rang out loudly, and so did every bell in the house.
Stop it. Stop ringing. Stop it. Ah! Oh, what is that? Oh, what is happening? No! What is that? Chains? Who's there? Who's there? What do you want? What?
I don't suppose you have any curtains, do you?
What? What do you want?
Wait a minute, I know you.
There before Scrooge stood his long-dead partner Marley. He appeared in his usual waistcoat, tights, and boots. The chain he dragged was clasped about his middle. It was long and wound about him like a tail, and it was made of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, ledgers, deeds, and heavy purses wrought in steel. His body was transparent, so that Scrooge, observing him and looking through his waistcoat, could see the 2 buttons on his coat behind.
What do you want, Marley?
Indeed, Scrooge, it is I.
What do you want?
Well, you see, I've come to give you a little message. You see these chains I've got here?
Yes?
Right. So, these chains represent every evil deed, every selfish act and word that I ever performed as your compatriot in business. And, Scrooge,
What?
your chain is twice as long. Scrooge, when you die, these chains are your fate. You see, Scrooge, tonight, starting at the stroke of 1, you will be visited by 3 spirits. The first spirit at the stroke of 1, the first at the stroke of 2, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Scrooge, I leave you with this thought. The spirit of Christmas will never die.
At this, the spirit raised a frightful cry and shook his chain with such a dismal and appalling noise that Scrooge held on tight to his chair to save himself from falling out in a swoon. But how much greater was his horror when the phantom, taking off the bandage around its head, resulted in its lower jaw dropping down upon its chest. The specter took its wrapper from the table and bound it round its head as before. The apparition walked backward from Scrooge towards the window. It beckoned Scrooge to approach, which he did. When they were within 2 paces of each other, Marley's ghost held up its hand, warning him to come no nearer. Scrooge stopped. On the raising of the hand, Scrooge became sensible of confused noises in the air.
What is that?
Incoherent sounds of lamentation and regret, wailings, inexpressibly sorrowful and self-accusatory. The specter, after listening for a moment, joined in the mournful dirge and floated out into the bleak, dark night. Scrooge looked out at the night and saw that the air was filled with phantoms, wandering hither and thither in restless haste and moaning as they went. The misery with them all was clearly that they had sought to interfere for good in human matters and had lost the power forever. We'll return to this Christmas broadcast after these messages.
Hello, I am Stella, founder of Stella Mart and Stella Mart's Sweet Stuff. I would like to bring to you a new product today. We have rubber palm trees. Yeah, the name says a lot in itself, but let me just give you a little description about this. In fact, I'm gonna let you hear a little testimonial about what this actually is. Fred?
Rubber pomes are ideal for any luau bash, especially if it's in midwinter when regular pomes are very hard to come by. I use rubber pomes for every single luau bash I have midwinter. Thank you, Stella.
Oh, Fred, that was wonderful. You have a knack for this sort of thing. Hey, Ed, do you long for a tropical feel in your living room?
I do. When I heard that the world-famous Brett Jansen put palm trees in his Miami Beach home, I knew I had to have one.
Oh, didn't we all?
So I put them in the lobby of my business, and it's a smashing success.
No. Well, there you have it, folks. That is enough. So it's just a small price of $199.99, and you can order right now. Call 301-869-9999. and order your rubber palm tree.
When Scrooge awoke, it was so dark that looking out of the bed he could scarcely distinguish the transparent window from the opaque walls of his chamber. He was endeavoring to pierce the darkness with his ferret eyes, when light flashed up in the room in the instant, and the curtains of his bed were flung aside. Scrooge started up, face to face with the unearthly visitor, as close to it as I am to you now.
Hello.
Hello?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
What do you want?
I'm here to take you on a journey.
A journey? What journey?
The journey into your past. Did you hear what I said?
Can't see, it's so bright.
Stop insulting me. Let's go.
Fine.
As the words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road with fields on either hand. The
Where
city
are we?
had entirely vanished. The darkness and the mist had vanished with it, for it was a cold, clear, wintry day with snow upon the ground.
Out in the country. Where are we?
In the country. You just said it.
Right.
You were right. We're in the country. Do you recognize where we are?
I do. This is the school I went to as a boy. My parents sent me.
Let's go inside.
They came to the door, and it opened before them, and disclosed a long, bare, melancholy room, made barer still by lines of plain desks. At one of them, a lonely boy was reading near a feeble fire.
Now, who is that? So sad.
That's me as a boy. I'm all alone. Nobody else was around. I came here to hide. All the other boys were teasing me.
Why didn't you go throw snowballs at them?
Because I couldn't throw very well.
That is sad. I'd cry too.
I don't like this. Let's leave.
And here we are a few years later.
Ebenezer, you're here. It's time to come home.
I don't want to come home.
But Papa wants you home for Christmas. You have to come.
He's the reason I don't want to go home. All he does is yell.
But he's different, Ebenezer. Please come with me.
Are you sure?
Yes, please. Come on home and see all the presents.
There's presents?
Yeah.
Do you know who that is, Ebenezer?
That's my sister.
She died, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Well, we have more places to go.
Although they had but that moment left the school behind them, they were now in the busy thoroughfares of a city, where shadowy carts and coaches battle for the way, and all strife and tumult of a real city were alive. It was made plain enough by the dressing of the shops that here too it was Christmas. But it was
Fresh
evening,
linen.
and the shops were lighted up. The ghost stopped at a certain warehouse door and asked Scrooge if he knew it.
All right, come on, everyone. Put away your books. Put away your papers. Oh, Ebenezer, what are you doing? I told you, put away your books, lad.
I have to work.
No, Ebenezer, we got a party. It's Christmas Eve.
I have ledgers to fill out.
No more books. Put your books down.
Fezziwig, Merry Christmas!
Now, Mrs. Fezziwig, what did you bring?
Oh, I brought in quite a spread. I'm sorry I'm covered in flour. I was just making your favorite Yuletide log.
Oh, you log! Now, you know Frederick here. He knows how to have a good time. Yes, he does. Come along, everybody. Thank you for staying late after work to party like the Fezziwigs only know how.
And once again, Mrs. Fezziwig, thank you so much for your hospitality. Thank you.
No, it is my joy.
No one deserves our thanks like Mrs. Fezziwig.
Oh, thank you. Oh, no, that is quite enough.
In came a fiddler with a music book. In came Mrs. Fezziwig, one vast, substantial smile. In came the 3 Fezziwig girls, beaming and lovable. In came the 6 young followers whose hearts they broke. In came all the young men and women employed in the business. They all came, one after another, some shyly, some boldly, some gracefully, some awkwardly, some pushing, some pulling, some... They all came, anyhow and everyhow. Away they all went, 20 couples at once, and all dancing with joy. Move the tables out of the way! Yeah! When the clock struck 11, the ball broke up. And Mr. and Mrs. Fezziwig took their stations, one on either side of the door, and they began shaking hands with every person individually as they went out.
Right in time.
Eggnog, Oh, Ebenezer, I know one young girl who wants to say goodbye to you. No! Oh, over there. Haven't you noticed, lad? Well, a good night with you. I'll see you on Monday. Farewell.
Do you know who he's talking about, Ebenezer?
Janice.
No, her name is Belle, actually. You don't remember. Well, I'm just going to let you watch the scene where you get to catch up, and I'll be back over here.
Well, hello, Ebenezer.
Hi, Belle.
Your sideburns are looking very woolly this evening.
Oh, thank you.
I just love Christmas, don't you?
Yeah, it's great.
I just love you, don't Christmas? What? I'm sorry, that just slipped out.
Yeah.
What are you doing New Year's?
Just, working on my, stock portfolio. Nothing much.
How about instead you work on the portfolio of us? Maybe.
That sounds delightful.
You can have some diverse investments in conversation and have some shares of Christmas pudding and maybe even some gazing into each other's eyes.
By the firelight.
Some firelight gazing could happen.
Sounds wonderful.
I could see us, we could maybe find some mistletoe and just look at each other under it for a little while.
Well, not that this isn't fun, but let's see what happens a few years later, Ebenezer.
Belle, please stop crying. Stop crying, please. What's wrong? Come on.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. And the very next day, you gave it away.
No,
This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Ebenezer.
I love you.
Oh, you say you love me. Your mouth says you love me, but your pocketbook says no. The pocketbook says you love cold, hard pennies
Belle,
more than this beautiful woman.
Belle, don't do this to me. You can't leave me. I'm all alone.
Anthony,
With my books.
I'm not leaving you, Ebenezer. You left me. The
What?
first time that you heard that your stocks were on the rise, and that your share was in the bear market, and that the bull was in the china shop, and that Japan was investing in foreign oil, I knew you were gone. Gone from me forever.
Belle, that was a momentary lapse of my undying love for you. All right? Look, I love you. Please. I love money too, but I love you. Please don't do this to me. Don't leave me, darling.
If you love me, then how about you show it by renouncing being in the financial business and becoming a woodcutter, and we can go live in a woodcutter's hut in the northern forests, and we can chop down Christmas trees and we can sell them.
No.
Every year we can sell the humblest Christmas trees.
No,
to a
Belle,
child from the city.
but then I can't provide for you, and we can't have a lovely house, and
We'll have a shack,
sure,
and
chopping
we'll
would be
have a dog,
kind
and
of
the
nice,
dog's
but
name will be Cedric.
And
Belle,
we all
but-
know how it ended, don't we, Ebenezer?
You don't
Belle,
love me anymore.
no.
Scrooge saw the scene drift away in a blur, and the next thing he was conscious of was being exhausted and overcome by an irresistible drowsiness, and, further, of being in his own bedroom. We'll return to the Christmas broadcast after these messages. In a world where evil is out of control,
The defibrillator owns this street.
where nothing is safe,
My puppy! My cat! My Tamagotchi!
where only one man holds the keys to safety.
I'm Jed Branson, trashman by day, protector of Megagathotropolis by night.
When the mayor realizes the city's in danger,
Jet Branson, help us!
Jet Branson zooms in with his jet-powered elbows to save the day.
I'm gonna kill that Jet Branson!
Action!
No worries, I'm here.
Adventure!
I'm gonna kill you, Jet Branson!
Danger! Romance!
I'll save you, ladies.
Suspense! Intrigue! Drama! And more special effects than you can shake a stick at! This time, Jet Branson versus the defibrillator.
You're going down, Jet Branson!
Huh, no way.
Jet Branson's greatest adventure yet. See it in theaters this summer.
Such a dreamboat.
Scrooge had been sleeping soundly when suddenly he awoke with a jolt. The room was filled with a brilliant light that stabbed through every hole and seam in his bed curtains, causing Scrooge to recoil in shock. He began to think that the source of this ghostly light might be in the adjoining room. He got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the door. Scrooge recognized that the room was his own, but had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceilings were covered with garlands and wreaths. Heaped upon the floor was a mound of delicacies, atop which a jolly giant, glorious to see, sat. He bore a glowing torch and held it up to shed its light on Scrooge as he came peeping round the door.
Come in and know me more, man.
What's all this stuff in my room?
It's food. What do you think?
Where'd it come from?
Came with me. I am the ghost of Christmas present.
What do you want?
I'm going to take you around and show you a few things. Take hold of my robe. Let us go.
And so, suddenly, with a flash, Scrooge found himself in a bustling market full of happy Christmas shoppers. Merry Christmas! Perhaps it was the pleasure that the good spirit had in showing sympathy for all poor men that led him straight to the home of Bob Cratchit, Scrooge's clerk. On the threshold of the door, the spirit smiled and stopped to bless Bob Cratchit's dwelling with the sprinkling of his torch. Then the spirit led Scrooge through the wall and into the kitchen.
Oh, this stew is really just bubbling. Bubbling.
Mother?
Oh, hello, dear. Can you help me with this, please?
Of course.
She laid the tattered tablecloth, assisted by Belinda Cratchit, second of their daughters, while Peter Cratchit blew the fire.
Oh, that smells delicious, Mrs. Cratchit.
Oh, thank you, darling. I've worked on it all day. Here, girls, can you help me hand these things out, please?
Of course, Mother.
Where's Tiny Tim? Has anyone seen Tiny Tim?
I'm here, Father.
Oh, come here, Tiny Tim.
Oh, darling, come sit down.
Mother, could you take my crutch for me?
Oh, absolutely, darling. I'd be happy to. Please just sit down. Don't excite yourself too much.
Father, because it's Christmas, my legs feel so much better.
Oh, I'm so glad, son. Now, Edwina, where's Edwina? And Peter?
I'm here.
Oh.
Children, keep putting things on the table, please. We're about to eat.
Okay, Mother.
Oh, it smells good. Aren't you excited,
it looks
Tim, boy?
so good. I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten for 3 weeks.
I know. Well, that's the joy of Christmas, son.
I know, Dad.
Get to eat. All right, everyone sit down. We're ready.
I would like to dedicate a toast. To dedicate this meal
that sounds wonderful.
to the founder of the feast,
Yeah.
Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Father.
He is the founder of the feast, whether we like him or not.
Of course he is. I would rather raise a toast to anyone else but him. You know how cruel he is to you.
That's not talk for Christmas, and not for around the kids. To Mr. Scrooge, may God have mercy on him.
I'm sure he will.
They were not a handsome family. They were not well dressed, their clothes were scanty, but they were happy, grateful, and contented. And as they faded from sight in the bright sprinklings of the spirit's torch, Scrooge had his eye upon them, and especially upon Tiny Tim to the last.
Will Tiny Tim live?
That is up to you. If you so choose to allow this family to keep on living this way, then you have sealed their fate.
What do you mean? I pay him well.
Do you think so?
Well, his house is in shambles. I suppose maybe he deserves a little bit more.
As the scene faded away, it was replaced, like a mist, with the home of his own nephew, and Scrooge found himself in a bright, dry, gleaming room, with the spirit standing, smiling by his side.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Oh, so I went to the office, and guess what? I invited Scrooge, and he laughed at me. He threw it back in my face.
Oh, Scrooge! Why would you invite such an awful man?
Oh, it's Christmas, and he's my uncle after all.
He wouldn't know what Christmas was if a Christmas goose bit him on the nose.
Oh, Fred, he's a horrible man.
Oh, but really, my mother loved him very much.
Well, perhaps we should play a game.
Oh, a game! I love games. Tiddlywinks.
Oh, Tiddlywinks.
Parcheesi.
Boys, a Christmas game.
Oh,
A game
Christmas.
for
Shoots and ladders.
No, not shoots and ladders. Charades.
Charades. Oh, me first.
Go on.
2 words.
2 words. Large duck, bear, no. It's an shooting, gun, shooting, climbing.
Shoots and ladders.
Oh my goodness.
Who's next?
Oh, look, I have a deck of cards. Why don't you go play solitaire?
All right, I love
excellent
that game. Thank you.
Oh, what a merry Christmas party this is.
There is nothing in the world so irresistibly contagious as laughter. When Scrooge's nephew laughed, holding his sides, rolling his head, the whole assembly laughed with him. Scrooge had imperceptibly become so joyous and lighthearted that he would have thanked them profusely if the ghost had given him time. But the whole scene passed off in the breath of the last words spoken by his nephew, and he and the spirit were again upon their travels. As the bells struck 3, Scrooge looked about him for the ghost and saw it not. As the last stroke ceased to vibrate, he lifted his eyes and beheld a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming like a black mist along the ground toward him. We'll return to the Christmas broadcast after these messages.
Hello?
Hi, can I interest you in some dinner plates this fine evening?
Dinner plates? What type of dinner plates?
Well, they're small and white, and they feature prominently a large fluffy kitten.
Oh, that sounds very interesting.
Yes, so...
You see, as much as I would love to, money is...
Well, these are the preferred plates for holding all of your food on your plate.
Is
thus
that
conserving
what
more
it's for?
food.
Oh my, I never thought of
Yes,
that.
in this type of economy, we need to be conserving our food.
I see, yes, well, that does sound very interesting.
So, can I interest you in 6?
Teen? Excuse me, as much as I would...
1,000?
Excuse me, what I meant to say was, as much as
But wait, Dr. Small's denture adhesive. For the important times. The phantom slowly, gravely, silently approached. When it came, Scrooge bent down upon his knee. The spirit was shrouded in a deep black garment which concealed its face and left nothing of it visible except for one outstretched hand. Its mysterious presence filled Scrooge with a solemn dread. Although well used to ghostly company by this time, Scrooge feared the silent shape so much that his legs trembled.
Hello? Who are you? The third ghost. What do you want? What are you gonna show me?
Scrooge stared as the ghost raised one hand up to its hood, grasped hold of the edge, and slowly pulled it back to reveal...
I'm back! Remember me, Scroogey boy?
Belle?
That's right! This is Belle 2, the return of Belle. Belle strikes back. Belle's revenge. Alright, listen up. You were a beast to me, and now I'm the ghost
I don't like it very much.
Yeah, I know! No, you don't. And we haven't even gotten started. Come here, I want to show you something.
What?
Grab hold of my scythe.
Your what?
This big, Grim Reaper stick I'm holding with the curved blade. Take the end of it.
Okay, just not the blade.
No.
Sharp.
But if you toy with me, if you play with my affections, you're gonna make the business end of this thing, mister!
No, I won't. I promise.
Alright, now get ready, because we are about to travel through time and space. And also through Bloomingdale's, because I need to stop to pick up a few things.
Fine.
Here we go! Up, and away!
They hurtled through time, hurtled through space, hurtled through Bloomingdale's, and then down, into a dark and dingy pawn shop.
Do you have the materials, Mrs. Dilber?
I do, and wouldn't you like to see them? Have a look.
What were you able to lift?
Oh, just let's see here. I have some blankets, only slightly moldy. Some sheets, which don't smell too much.
They're still warm.
Well, about that, I sort of, you don't need to know the details.
You don't mean it. You took them down with him in the bed right there.
What, you got a problem with that?
It's a little disgusting, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, fine, but they're not that dirty at all.
Fine. I'll give you 2 pence for the sheets. And
that's all?
3 pence for the curtains.
Oh,
you got anything else?
Just some buttons and cufflinks and things like that. They're very nice, though.
Let me see the cufflinks.
I think that gold is real, pretty sure. Ow, my tooth. Oh, here you go.
Okay, well, I'll give you £1 for the lot.
He's not gonna need them now. No one loved him while he was alive, and no one loved him dead.
Well, I love him dead. I get his
Good
stuff.
point, money. Yeah, good point.
All right, I'll give you £1 for the lot.
All right, thank you.
What's going on here?
Do you see these 2 scoundrels?
Yeah?
For right now, though, I want to show you something else. I'm going to take you to see some business associates of yours.
Okay.
Do you remember Jacobson and Humphreys?
Did some business with them a
Okay,
long
well,
time
here we go.
ago.
Through time and space. Up and away!
They hurtled through time, hurtled through space, and landed in a dusty, dingy business room.
Did you hear the old guide kick the bucket?
I did hear about that.
Culture would never but.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go to the funeral.
I hear there's food.
Oh, well then in that case. Oh, maybe.
They don't like whoever they're talking about, do they?
I guess not.
Yeah, they don't. They don't like him at all. But you don't know who they're talking about, do you? Well, I do. And you know what? You know something else?
What?
We're gonna go somewhere else now. Through time and space. Grab hold of my scythe! Up!
Again?
Up! And away!
And they landed in the streets of London, in front of Bob Cratchit's house.
Do you know this house?
Oh, wait. It's Cratchit's house.
That's right. Now, walk through the wall with me.
Oh, what a feeble feast this year.
Yes, so different from normal. Do sit down, everyone. We're almost ready.
I'm so used to picking up Tiny Tim.
I know that it's not the same. It never will be. And I know the reason, but I'm not going to talk about it.
No. Well, let's give thanks for all the blessings we have. Tomorrow I'll meet with the landlord and see if we can stay an extra few days. I'm not sure it will work, but I'm hoping to find a job soon.
And now, Scrooge, I will take you to your final destination. There's a little double meaning in that. You'll see what I mean in a second. Grab hold of my scythe. Grab hold of it, I said!
Fine.
Up! We're traveling through time and space, by the way.
Yeah, I know it.
And they hurtled down towards a dismal graveyard full of fog and graves.
Whose grave?
You are standing in front of a grave that will mean very much to you, Ebenezer.
Why?
Well, if you go around to the side where stuff is written on it, you'll find out!
Oh.
And so, Ebenezer, with his heart pounding, wondering what he was about to see, slowly stepped around the tall, dark, gray grave. And there he saw, inscribed upon it,
Ebenezer Scrooge. It's me. My grave. What's happened? What's happening?
But the spirit was no longer there. Instead, Scrooge found himself in a swirling mist, in a spinning darkness, and he felt himself falling down, 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 faster, 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 He found himself once more in his own bed. Scrooge looked around. He's disoriented. Where was he? And then he saw light coming through his bed curtains. He flung them open to show the most beautiful sunlight streaming through his open window. He ran to it and saw down in the street below a young boy. He called out to him.
Hey, you down there!
Hello, Gov.
What day is it?
Oh, it's Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas to you too, sir.
Hey, go down to the poulterer's shop and see if they've got that prize-winning turkey.
What, the one as big as me?
Yes, the one as big as a boy. I want to purchase it.
Oh, I am a boy, and it's gonna cost you quite a bit, sir.
All right, here's £5.
And he threw
Run, boy, run!
money down to the boy in the street. The boy took off laughing. And Scrooge slid down the banisters of his home and ran out the door and met the boy in the street carrying the turkey.
Here you go, sir. And here's your change.
Oh, thank you. That's the biggest turkey I've ever seen.
And off he went, the turkey in his arms with great joy, off to Bob Cratchit's house. He hid the turkey behind his back and assumed a grim expression.
Hello?
Mr. Cratchit?
Mr. Scrooge! It's a surprise to see you here.
I have some news for you.
Oh?
Merry Christmas.
And he pulled the turkey out from behind his back.
Oh,
here you are!
And
Your Christmas gift from Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh.
And his face beamed in a joyous smile.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Scrooge. Girls, children, come.
May I come in?
Mr. Scrooge, please come in, Mr. Scrooge.
Thank you.
Mr. Scrooge, Merry Christmas, and God bless us, everyone!
Merry Christmas, Tiny Tim.
Quite right, Tiny Tim. Quick, let's prepare a
And
feast.
so they went together into that Christmas morning, happy, celebrating, enjoying the joy of Christmas. For Scrooge had found the true meaning of the season. Thank you for joining us for this Silverdome radio production of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Our cast for this very special Christmas broadcast was Alex Goodling,
Take my robe.
Alex Tieran,
Merry Christmas, Uncle!
Brett Jensen,
Bah humbug. Nah, Merry Christmas.
Brittany Coughlin,
Would anyone like some hot buns?
Casey Somerville,
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Danny Mays, Elise Rakucci,
Oh, Fred.
Garrett Rakucci,
I'll take the cufflinks.
Jason Cunningham,
Oh, thank you, Mr. Scrooge.
guest starring Noah Welch and Courtney Rakucci, and I, as always, am your host, Thurgood Van Ivers. Thank you for joining us. Good night and Merry Christmas.
Now it's time for post-show notes, the part of the show where we go around and talk about highlights from the show that you may not hear on air. So this is the first Christmas broadcast, and it was broadcasting on January 9th, 2010. So let's start with Alex Goodling.
Well, the music is fuzzy.
Yeah, we've had a lot of technical problems.
Yeah, we've had some of those, but that's alright. It was all fun. God,
Gosh.
My favorite Alex part was touch my robe.
Touch my robe. Yes, that was probably.
That was a showstopper.
That was a showstopper. Having to do that like 5 times, that was exciting.
You know you wanted
Even though I only had like 10 lines in the entire show. We did it like 5 times.
All right, Brett Jansen.
Let's see, post-show notes. Yeah.
Wise words. All right, here we are.
Brett Jansen did a great job with a story that he didn't really understand.
Yeah, that's true.
Alex
yeah. Here's a post note. Learn the story beforehand.
Well done. Read the book.
Alex Turin.
It was a good time being Fred. I was sad I did not get to refute the bah humbug, and hearing Alex say "touch my robe" many times is slightly disturbing.
And of course, Garrett Rakucci.
Janice was definitely. As always.
First time back after a long absence. We're glad to have Rakucci's represented. With, of course, Elise Rakucci. Welcome for the first time on STP Radio. Make sure you get near a microphone.
Yeah, you don't get in this one. Just don't eat it.
Janice was my favorite too.
Welcome.
That was great.
Danny Mays.
And of course, Janice was one of my favorites as well. As was, I think, as we go, we are allowing more sort of goofiness just when we break character to come in. To the exactly, and it's great. It's just it's one good time, and when something really awkward, like Alex says very loud, "Lad, touch my robe," and we all just kind of enjoy it.
Does anybody want some hot bugs?
Yeah, or stuff like that. It's just fantastic. We've got a great group of people with an outstanding sense of humor and really no withdrawal at all.
And of course, Brittany Coughlin for her premiere broadcast.
Brittany was a speaker and a Foley artist, actually.
Yeah.
Foley
effects. Actually, a little bit about the Foley art.
It was strenuous, but I got through it. I accomplished 2 life goals, really. Being on a radio broadcast and being a Foley artist. So
wow.
It really was
a
amazing.
Christmas miracle.
Pat yourself on the back.
I particularly like the horses.
Oh, yes.
The horses. No, those weren't very good. The chains colored my hands orange.
They're very rusty chains, and it was kind of a mess.
We'll use gloves.
We'll use gloves.
Note.
Casey Somerville.
Janice was my favorite part, too. I'm glad that we got to incorporate her as much as we did.
There's a lot of chemistry between her and Jet Branson over there.
Yep.
Wait, what? Oh, but Janice, yeah.
And of course, David Somerville.
Not Casey.
Favorite parts: Alex Turin in the commercial.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
For the rubber
Stella
palm
Mark.
trees. Also, Brittany Coughlin as the Christmas child who would run away from her aunt with soap.
Absolutely.
And also there's small Noah Welch as the salesman. He did a great job. All those commercial surprises are my favorite parts. Yeah, definitely. And now, Jason Cunningham, what was your favorite part? I think I really liked our Jet Branson commercial. I think that turned out really well, and I thought it was funny. I thought the whole show went really well, and I'm glad we were finished on schedule. It is 4:15, so that's actually 15 minutes earlier than I had predicted it would go. So I'm very, very, very grateful.